Tennessee, and a Terry McLaurin for the Washington Commanders. There's a lot of reports out there. They're not going to go to minicamp. They want new contracts. And this is a classic example of I have three different opinions on all three. So with Deebo Samuel, I would strongly consider, and it would be hard, I would consider trading him. And I like him. But he's banged up a lot. His style is not built for longevity. He once came into camp out of shape. He is incredibly valuable. I'm not sure you can duplicate him in the draft. But again, the Niners spend a lot of money on offense on Garoppolo, Trent Williams, George Kittle, and if you add Deebo Samuel, those are bodies not built to last forever and with some injuries. So as much as I like Deebo Samuel, and I really do, I mean, that he is just a unique talent, I would test the market. Secondly, Terry McLaurin for the Commanders. I would pay him early. First of all, he's massively outplayed his contract, his draft status. He was drafted like third round. He's been fantastic. Secondly, it's a lousy football operation, and he has risen above it and succeeded despite the complete nonsense. Carson Wentz now's there. He's got to have a number one wide receiver. I believe he's the best wide receiver in the entire division. So I would pay Terry McLaurin. A.J. Brown is different. I like him a lot. I'd play chicken. I'd let him sit out. First of all, this culture is built on Derrick Henry. Okay? They go as Derrick Henry goes. It's sort of a tough physical culture with a defensive head coach. A.J. Brown has had a few injuries. It's a good wide receiver draft. He's a good young wide receiver. I would let's see how long he's willing to go. And if he doesn't want to get paid, don't want to get paid. But three different receivers and three different solutions or outcomes to me because they're three different personalities and they're three different body types. Deebo Samuel may be as valuable as any of them, but the Niners are well run. The Niners make, with Kyle Shanahan, they make a lot of six-round picks work. I would probably be willing to move him because I know I pay Kittle and Jimmy G and Trent Williams, and I'm going to pay Bosa. So I would consider moving him. It hurts. You lose sleep, but I do it. Tennessee Titans culture is built on the running game. Let's play chicken. Washington's not built on anything other than nonsense, and McLaurin's been fantastic, so I would pay. Another thought over the weekend, calling right, calling wrong, top of next hour. So there is a time-honored tradition in the NBA by fans. Whenever you lose, blame the officials. And I've been saying this forever. There's two NBA seasons. There's the regular season, and then there's the playoffs. And in the playoffs, here's what happens. The refs let stars decide the games. They don't want to have a free throw shooting contest. And so it benefits older teams, smarter teams, veteran teams, established teams, physical teams. So in Chicago, I cannot believe the officials in this game. Oh, that's interesting because I went to the box score. The Bulls shot 32% and then 18% on three-point shots and scored 86 points. But yeah, by all means, it's the refs. Yeah, because the NBA was sitting there thinking, you know what we want? We want a small market Milwaukee to win this series. And we want it to be a sweep. And here, late in the second half, Chicago's outplayed them. This would make the series more interesting because it has the chance to be a sweep, which is TV ratings poison. But let's just kill their chances now because nobody in Chicago likes sports, and that won't change the ratings at all. For a Milwaukee team that, by the way, the league gives them lousy time slots because they're just not that appealing to the masses. Chicago fell behind 9-0. They had 7 points in the first 6 minutes. Yes, the refs, that was the refs. It's a big plan. The league's got a big plan to eliminate major market Chicago. Oh, give me a break. DeMar DeRozan was 6 of 25. You mostly couldn't shoot. You weren't ready to play. You fell behind 7-0 and like 21-6. And Bulls fans go 100% victimhood. Folks, refs blow calls. Sort of like DeMar DeRozan had an awful game. And coaches nothing against Steve Nash, But what in the hell was that at the end of the Brooklyn-Boston game with like KD and Kyrie? Could somebody set a screen? Did they have a play? It was like a bad version of ball hog at the YMCA. People make mistakes. Like refs butcher calls. It happens. Listen, I've said this in the history of sports. I've only watched 1 or 2 games in my life that I literally thought, not series, because if it's a 7-game series, the refs aren't deciding the series, okay? But I watched the college football game about 10 years ago between Florida State. I think it was in Gainesville. There were 3 egregious calls within like the first 10 minutes. They all went against Florida. Florida State won. And I remember sitting watching this game and thinking, okay, this is the exception. The officials were awful. I don't know what happened. Did somebody miss their flight? Did they grab somebody from the Florida State road crew? It was awful. But the refs didn't decide that game. DeRozan was bad. You weren't ready to play. You couldn't shoot. You couldn't hit threes. At the end of a game, there's a call that goes Giannis's way and not the Bulls' way. It happens. They're imperfect, just like your favorite basketball team. We all have different ideas about success. You do, I do. We achieve it at different times. We achieve it in different ways. Let's say you're considering retirement or you've changed jobs. Probably shouldn't go about it alone. You don't know, I don't know what your version of success is. Retirement's a huge plan. For over 130 years, Stifel, S-T-I-F-E-L, Stifel, St. Louis-based, Stifel Financial Advisors have helped clients like you create personalized retirement plans. Understand the options for claiming Social Security? Implementing an investment portfolio designed around your needs? That's just the beginning. As a client, you'll have access to Stifel's award-winning equity research, investment strategy views, enabling you to make informed decisions. Hey, you earn that wealth. Invest in your success. Find a Stifel Financial Advisor, S-T-I-F-E-L, at Stifel.com. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange.
So this is not a team that you're going to be able to, you know, clobber without your star. So Utah was only up by 2 at the half, but they never fell behind the rest of the game. Donovan Mitchell scored 30 of his game-high 32 points after the break, and Dallas did get within near the end of the fourth. Royce O'Neal hit a big three-pointer with under a minute to go. Jazz won 99-93. So it's not as if it was a blowout without Luka, but you need your guy to get you over the edge against a good Jazz team. Now, Luka is also expected to be out with the calf strain for Game 2 tonight. So they're going to have a big performance tonight at 8:30 Eastern. Spencer Dinwiddie had 22 points. Jalen Brunson had 24 points. Well, it's not that they don't have the scoring, but Luka is just a factor that you can't overcome being without. Yeah, I mean, and if he's not available for Game 2, which is a must-win game, it tells you they may shut it. I mean, if not shutting it down, they're not even playing him 16 minutes. They're not playing him anything. Right, like he's clearly too injured to be out here for these playoff games. In the biggest game of the year. Right. So, I mean, I would not force him back at this point if he's going to miss Game 1 and Game 2. Obviously, he's a young player. This is going to be kind of interesting, though, because they haven't made out of the first rounds with Luka. He's injured now. If he comes into the season again next year out of shape again, now it's starting to pile up into injuries. That's a real concern if you're the Dallas Mavericks. Obviously, Luka is incredibly talented, but there is another side of this as well if you want to have a long and successful career, which is you got to come into the season in shape. Right. Like that's the thing. So the USFL kicked off this weekend, and fans are showing how excited they are about spring football. The league projects there were 3 million viewers across Fox, NBC, and their streaming audience for the opening game. The Birmingham Stallions' 28-24 victory over the New Jersey Generals also peaked with nearly 3.5 million viewers during the broadcast. The camera angles are incredible. They have all these really cool different elements. They have these, they put microphones in the pads so you can hear what Moose called the crunch. So you can hear the crunch sound when you hear the hits. They're showing some of the different angles now. They have the cams in the helmets. It's really cool, all the different elements that they're using. Well, I've told you, I've been wrong twice, but I absolutely believe spring football will work. One, now with legalized gambling, it gives us something to gamble, and we do as a country gamble football. Two, there's just a lot of good quarterbacks out there. The high school quarterbacking is sensational.
if you have quality quarterbacks and you can protect them a little, it'll be watchable. It'll be consumable. And the other thing is all these spring football leagues, they know they're not going to duplicate the NFL. They take big risks